All right, let's have a chat. There are icons, and then there's Britney Spears. You know what I mean? She's not just a singer. She's a cultural phenomenon, a feeling, a whole mood. From the moment she burst onto the scene in that schoolgirl uniform, we were hooked. We've danced to her songs at weddings, sung them in the car at the top of our lungs, and watched her every move. She's the undisputed princess of pop. But let's be honest, while the music is legendary, it's her love life that has kept us glued to our screens for over 2 decades. It's been a roller coaster, a proper soap opera with more twists than a Haas Take On Me video. Her romances are the stuff of legend. They're not just tabloid fodder. They're chapters in a story we all feel a part of. We've seen the highs, the dizzying, head-over-heels, fairy tale moments. And we've seen the lows, the heartbreaks that played out in front of the entire world. Why are we so fascinated? I think it's because, underneath the global superstardom, the glitter, and the sold-out arenas, we see a human being just trying to find love. It's the most relatable story in the world, just with a much, much bigger budget and a lot more paparazzi. It's a journey of hope, heartbreak, and getting back up again. So we're going to take a little trip down memory lane, a romantic history tour, if you will. We'll revisit the iconic moments, the shocking surprises, and the relationships that defined eras. Think of it as a carpool karaoke session, but instead of singing, we're dishing on the most talked-about romances in pop history. We'll laugh, we might gasp, and we'll definitely have some opinions. But through it all, we'll be celebrating the woman who has lived and loved in the public eye, with a courage most of us can only imagine. It's a story more epic than any pop song she's ever released. Grab your popcorn, settle in, because this is the unforgettable, unbelievable, and utterly fascinating story of Britney Spears' heart. Let's rewind the clock, back to a simpler time. A time of dial-up internet, boy bands, frosted tips. It was the late 90s, and pop music had a royal couple, Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. They were the king and queen of TRL, the absolute pinnacle of pop perfection. They met as kids on the Mickey Mouse Club, which is basically the Hollywood equivalent of meeting your future spouse in nursery school. It was adorable. When they finally got together, the entire world collectively swooned. They were young, they were talented, they were ridiculously good-looking. It was a match made in pop culture heaven. Their relationship was a masterclass in iconic moments. Remember the matching all-denim outfits at the American Music Awards? Of course you do. It's been burned into our collective memory. So wonderfully, gloriously tacky. It circled back to brilliant. That look should be in a museum. They were everywhere. On magazine covers, on red carpets, in our dreams. The ultimate power couple before we even used that term. They weren't just dating, they were a brand. The Britney and Justin brand. And business, my friends, was booming. But fairy tales don't always last. The dream came to a crashing halt in 2002. The breakup was messy and very, very public. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. Justin released Cry Me a River, complete with a music video featuring a Britney lookalike. Ouch. That was heavy-handed, wasn't it? The media had a field day, painting Justin as heartbroken and Britney as less than innocent. Looking back now, it feels unfair, doesn't it? She was just a young woman navigating massive heartbreak under the world's most intense microscope. And it set the stage for Britney's next, far more unpredictable chapter. The 55-hour marriage that shook the world. Now hold on to your hats, because things are about to get wild. It's January 2004. Britney decides to have a little trip to Las Vegas with her childhood friend Jason Alexander. Just a casual getaway. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? Well, not when you're Britney Spears. In a move that left the world's jaw on the floor, the two of them got married. Yes, married. At the Little White Wedding Chapel, no less. The whole thing was pure, chaotic magic. Britney was reportedly wearing a baseball cap, ripped jeans, classy. It was the most uncelebrity wedding in the history of celebrity weddings. There was no Vera Wang gown, no 7-tier cake, no star-studded guest list. Just 2 old friends, a chapel, and a decision that screamed YOLO before YOLO was even a thing. The marriage lasted a grand total of 55 hours. That's less time than it takes to binge-watch a season of The Crown. It was annulled faster than you can say, oops. I did it again. The world, of course, went into a frenzy. Was it a joke? A cry for help? A publicity stunt? The annulment papers cited that Britney lacked understanding of her actions, which is the legal way of saying it seemed like a good idea at the time. Jason Alexander later claimed they were genuinely in love, but the whirlwind romance ended as quickly as it began. It was a bizarre, hilarious, and slightly concerning blip on the radar. It was the ultimate rock and roll move from a pop princess, a moment of pure impulse that reminded everyone she played by her own rules. And for your fun fact, Jason Alexander said that when they were on their way to the chapel in a lime green limo, of course it was a lime green limo, Britney was the one who proposed to him. He said she just turned to him and asked, "Well, let's get married." And he, being a good friend, just said, "Sure, let's do this. See, it's a story of friendship." Just when we thought we'd seen it all, Britney's love life took another sharp turn. Mere months after the Vegas incident, she met Kevin Federline. He was one of her backup dancers on tour. It's a classic story, really. The powerful star falling for someone from her own crew. It's like a Hollywood movie, but with more tracksuits. Their romance was a whirlwind. They got engaged after just 3 months of dating. The world's tabloids practically exploded with joy. Kevin, K-Fed as he was affectionately known, was already a controversial figure. He already had 2 children with his ex-girlfriend, actress Shar Jackson. Shar Jackson was pregnant with their second child when he and Britney got together. The media had a field day with the drama. It was messy. It was complicated. It was perfect gossip column material. Despite the controversy, Britney seemed blissfully happy. She was head over heels. They got married in September 2004 in a surprise ceremony. They even had their own reality show, Britney Kevin, Chaotic. The show gave us an unfiltered, bizarre look into their lives. It was filmed on a home video camera, and it was certainly something. Their marriage was a paparazzi goldmine. They were followed everywhere. Every trip to Starbucks, every shopping spree, every argument, all of it splashed across magazine covers. They had 2 sons together, Sean Preston, Jaden James, both born in quick succession. For a moment, it seemed like domestic bliss, a very public, chaotic domestic bliss. In November 2006, just 2 months after their second son's birth, Britney filed for divorce. After the storm of the K-Fed divorce, Britney's life entered a period that the tabloids absolutely feasted on. It was a turbulent time, but even in the midst of the chaos, there were flickers of romance. These weren't the epic, headline-grabbing love stories of her past. These were more like interesting subplots. One of the most talked-about figures from this era was Adnan Ghalib, a paparazzo from a British photo agency. Yes, you read that right. She started dating one of the people who were paid to follow her. It was a truly wild twist in the Britney saga. Their relationship was a strange and fascinating spectacle. Here was the world's most hunted celebrity, hand in hand with one of her hunters. It was like a fox dating a hound. The press went absolutely wild. Was this a genuine connection, or was it a case of Stockholm Syndrome with flashbulbs? Ghalib was by her side during some of her most public struggles in late 2007 and early 2008. The relationship was brief and intense, and it fizzled out amidst the legal turmoil of her conservatorship, which was established in early 2008. It remains one of the most bizarre chapters in her romantic history. After the conservatorship was put in place, Britney's life became much more private and controlled. Her next significant relationship was with her agent, Jason Trawick. This one felt different. It seemed more stable, more mature. He was a trusted figure in her inner circle, and their romance blossomed over time. They started dating in 2009, and for a while, it looked like Britney had finally found a solid, supportive partner. They got engaged in 2011, and he even became a co-conservator of her person, giving him a legal role in her life. But in 2013, they announced their split, calling off the engagement. The breakup was amicable. Following her split from Jason Trawick, there was a sense that Britney was ready for something a bit more normal. Or, as normal as life can be when you're Britney Spears. She was deep into her successful Las Vegas residency, Piece of Me, and honestly, she was in a great place professionally. It was during this time that she met David Lucado. He wasn't a celebrity, he wasn't an agent, he wasn't a backup dancer. He was just a regular guy who worked at a law firm. They were reportedly set up by friends at a party, which is refreshingly normal, isn't it? Their relationship, which began in 2013, was marked by a sense of fun and down-to-earth charm. They were often photographed doing everyday things, going to her son's soccer games, grabbing frozen yogurt, or just hanging out. David seemed totally unfazed by the fame. He was often described as a Southern gentleman, and he brought a sense of calm and normalcy to Britney's life. She seemed genuinely happy and relaxed with him. In interviews, she would gush about how much she liked that he was so stubborn and passionate. It was honestly sweet to see her so smitten. Britney's father, Jamie Spears, who was in charge of her conservatorship, apparently ran a full background check on Lucado before allowing him to date his daughter. Talk about a tough father-in-law. Imagine having to pass a background check just to go on a date. It's like the world's most intense episode of The Bachelorette. But David passed the test and he was welcomed into the fold. For about a year and a half, everything seemed to be going swimmingly. It was a drama-free romance, a welcome change of pace for both Britney and her fans. But then, in August 2014, the relationship came to an abrupt end. A video surfaced that allegedly showed Lucado being unfaithful. Britney, in true Britney fashion, didn't beat around the bush. After the messy breakup with David Lucado, Britney didn't stay single for long. By late 2014, she was linked to a new man, Charlie Ebersol. On paper, he looked perfect. He was a successful TV producer. He was the son of TV legend Dick Ebersol. He was handsome, he was smart. He understood show business without being part of the celebrity circus. It felt like a solid match. They looked like a J. Crew catalog couple, all smiles on red carpets, cute Instagram posts. Their relationship felt sweet and very public. Britney seemed head over heels. She wore a t-shirt on stage during her Vegas show that said, "I love Charlie," a big declaration of love, the 21st century equivalent of carving initials in a tree. Charlie seemed smitten too. He spoke glowingly in interviews, calling her a tremendous mother and an amazing person. He integrated into her life, spending time with her sons and joining family holidays. It all seemed picture perfect. Fans were rooting for them. It felt mature, healthy, supportive. Britney seemed to have found her equal, a partner who could handle her world and celebrate her. Whispers of engagement. They just seemed to fit. Charlie was there for her 33rd birthday. They attended the Super Bowl together. They shared a life both glamorous and grounded. Everything pointed to a long, happy future. A genuinely hopeful time for fans. But after about 8 months, they suddenly split in June 2015. The breakup was swift and quiet. Britney deleted every photo of Charlie from Instagram. And then came Sam. In 2016, a ridiculously handsome model and personal trainer named Sam Asghari was cast in Britney's music video for Slumber Party. The story goes that they were waiting around between takes and started chatting. They talked about sushi of all things. Britney gave him her number. It took him 5 months to call her. 5 months. The nerve. That's either playing it incredibly cool or just being very, very bad at checking your pockets. But he eventually made the call, and the rest is history. Their relationship blossomed away from the intense glare that had defined her previous romances. Sam was a rock for her, a constant source of support and positivity. On social media, we saw a side of Britney we hadn't seen in years. Happy, goofy, in love. They posted adorable videos of them working out together, dancing in the living room, and just being a normal couple. He called her his lioness, and it was clear he was fiercely protective of her. As the Free Britney movement gained momentum, Sam became a vocal supporter, publicly calling out the injustices of her conservatorship. When Britney's conservatorship finally ended in 2021, it felt like a victory for them both. Shortly before the conservatorship was terminated, Sam proposed with a beautiful custom diamond ring. It was a fairy tale moment that fans had been waiting years to see. They got married in June 2022 in an intimate, magical ceremony at her home. It was a star-studded affair with guests like Madonna, Drew Barrymore. After all the heartbreak and turmoil, it truly seemed like Britney had finally gotten her happy ending. She was free, and she was married to the man who had stood by her side. But in a heartbreaking twist that no one saw coming, in August 2023, Just 14 months after their fairy tale wedding, Sam filed for divorce. The news shocked the world. The reasons cited were, once again, irreconcilable differences. But rumors and speculation ran rampant. The public reaction was a mix of sadness and concern for Britney. A fun fact from their happier times: Sam's nickname for Britney was Lioness because he admired her strength, and he even got the word tattooed on his arm. The end of their marriage marked the end of a significant chapter, one that saw her fight for and win her freedom. So here we are. Today is September 3rd, 2025. We've journeyed through the denim-clad 90s, the chaotic Vegas years, the K-Fed frenzy, and the hopeful, then heartbreaking saga with Sam Asghari. Britney's romantic history is more compelling than any movie script. It's been a whirlwind of passion, impulse, heartbreak, and resilience. Her story is a testament to the power to love, to lose, and to dare to love again. We love you, Britney. Make sure to share this journey with your friends, because the story of Britney Spears is a story for the ages.